so far this area hasn't been too bad. By the way, this game actually keeps track of every like life form on the planet that you've encountered. If you're trying to complete the log, you will actually want to use every type of candy pop bud, even if you don't want to actually change a Pikmin's color. So yeah, I'm just tossing this Pikmin in for the sake of completion. If you're not concerned about that, then don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. I almost feel like it's harder to actually defeat bread bugs the intended way here, because you don't have pellets. Like in the Forest Naval, you have pellets to help you actually, like, it gives you a lot to carry back. While here, with the underground areas, we basically have to rely on enemies or the actual treasures, which is oftentimes not overly convenient. So yeah, because of that, I also feel like it's actually easier to defeat bread bugs using Pikmin instead of by carrying them back. Oh, that's 2 anode beetles from the ceiling. That's one of the fun things about these underground areas, is random enemies falling, and that was doable. There are definitely cases where there are much worse enemies that can fall out of the sky, and we will definitely have to deal with that at some point. So unlike the fire, we actually don't want to use purple Pikmin to break the generators. You know, with fire, we can call the Pikmin if we have to. With electricity, you don't get a second chance, so to play it safe, I am going to use the yellow Pikmin to actually break all these. Again, hypothetically, you can use any kind of Pikmin to break these. It's just, should you? And the answer, in most cases, is probably not. We have a puffy blowhog. Fighting it with yellow Pikmin is probably less than ideal, when we also have tons of purple Pikmin nearby, but also trying to fight by electricity is not my favorite thing in the world, so we'll just fight like so. Again, these actually can't defeat Pikmin. They basically just take away their flower and revert them to leaf by using their attacks. So they're not dangerous, they're just kind of annoying, to be honest. That one didn't even have a treasure for us. But yeah, when an anode beetle is completely by itself, you really can leave it alone. This one, I am a little bit worried straying a little bit too close to that one over there. So that's why I did go ahead and defeat that one. I'm not even worried about the glitch at this point. It'll actually be a while until we need a ton of bitter spray. But if I see a bitter spray, I will go ahead and perform the glitch. Spicy spray, I'm not overly worried about. So yeah, I will definitely be prioritizing the bitter spray if necessary. So it looks like the bread bug does have a treasure here, so we have to worry about that in a bit. The fun part is actually locating it, and then the second step is to actually defeat it. Like right now, I actually have... Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I have no clue where it is, and then managed to find it. As long as the anode beetles kind of stay over there, I should be okay. But just to be on the safe side, I am going to kind of stay in this area and just kind of try to pick this off very quickly. We are going to have the yellow Pikmin carry it back for obvious reasons. Okay, got a little bit nervous about the electricity. Again, sometimes with the throwing in this game, you might throw Pikmin where you don't want to throw them, and when you're dealing with electricity, that's not great. There we go. I'm assuming the treasure's almost back by now. I actually can't... Alright, so this is the Director of Destiny for 100 Pokos. I was going to say, I can't actually see a whole lot of this area because of how dark it is. Some of the floors are actually pretty dark compared to others. Some are actually pretty well lit. This one feels especially dark, which is actually kind of cool in some ways. For the next floor, it's actually going to be very scary because there's a major thing on the next floor that we might not be able to really see until it's too late. Which is fun from the standpoint of unpredictability, but is not so great from the standpoint of actually keeping all of our Pikmin alive. So we'll have to see how that goes. The next floor is the floor I'm extraordinarily worried about because a lot can actually go wrong, and that's the reason why I wanted as many bitter and spicy sprays as I have now. And this is the harmonic synthesizer, worth 120 Pokos. Alright, so where is the exit from here? Also, do I risk going after this egg? Just nectar, so not really worth it. Also, if you defeat, you can actually see the anode beetles start to spark. So if you see that, and we're able to topple them quickly enough, that will prevent them from attacking. That was actually pretty risky, and I'm amazed that worked out as well as it did. I think we should be fine if we activate the cutscene, but again, I actually have had glitches where Pikmin have died during cutscenes, so especially this being a Let's Play, I am going to play a lot safer than I normally would, and I am going to go out of my way to destroy this electric generator, just to make sure it doesn't count. Again, I have had, like, times when I finish the cavern, I have 100 Pikmin, and then it will say, like, oh, you lost 20 Pikmin here, and it doesn't make any sense. Sub-level 4 is awful. We have some dwarf bulborbs, or bulbears, and an adult bulbear over there. Bulbears work differently than in Pikmin 1. They are permanently awake and actually will roam areas, which is why I wanted an Ultra Bitter Spray for this, but there are also dwarf bulbears following it around, which will definitely try to get in the way if we try to fight it. So this is going to be a little bit scary. If I can actually pick off the dwarf bulbears first, that'd be very helpful, and I might use a spray just for that. Let's try to get all of them, actually. Most impressive, this fierce beast became as hard as stone in a mere instant. The Ultra Bitter Extract seems to have a side effect that stops beasts in their tracks. The biggest problem with the first time you use one of these sprays is it actually counts for the timer of it. Oops, I actually wasted one because it hadn't worn off entirely. So yeah, it's a good thing we had 3 because that went very poorly. Sometimes when you use a spray on an enemy, it'll actually give you another spray in return, like how it dropped Nectar. We weren't that lucky though this time, so unfortunately we did use all of our sprays. Later on we'll have to try to build up again because there's actually a cavern, I'm not kidding, where I actually would like about, no joke, 5 sprays for that, because there are a lot of enemies that are very difficult to defeat without using sprays, or at least without losing Pikmin in the process. And the Ultra Bitter Spray just makes it a lot safer trying to actually fight some of these enemies that are very dangerous otherwise. This one's on a high ledge. And we have yet another bottle cap called the Massive Lid, worth 100 Pokos. as I was going to say, one interesting thing is because of the randomized placements of treasures, sometimes you actually need yellow Pikmin more than for just electricity. Sometimes things are on high ledges. This is one of those times, but again, that doesn't always happen. Again, it's kind of the fun of this game, and also one of the frustrating things about this game is how randomized it is, because it definitely keeps things interesting, but it can also be extraordinarily frustrating if you have trouble just because the game decided to randomize something into a very bad spot, which does tend to happen a lot. This might actually be a problem. We actually need more Pikmin in case the bread bug tries to swipe the treasure, so let's take some red Pikmin over there. We have another chocolate called the White Goodness for 60 Pokos. So yeah, we want to keep an eye on this, because if 20 out of 20 Pikmin are on this treasure, the bread bug could easily overpower the Pikmin, so we want a full number on this treasure, just to be on the safe side. I'm still kind of upset using using 3 sprays when I was kind of hoping to get away with only using 2. Again, that one's particularly difficult because of the cutscene taking up some of the time that the ball bear would actually be stunned. It's actually very unfortunate that the cutscene counts for that. And this is the Invigorator, worth 130 Pokos. So that's another floor down. Didn't have to worry about this one, thankfully, and we're good to move on. As much as I was worried about sub-level 4, 5 isn't much better, actually. We have more ball bears, or dwarf ball bears, but we also have something new. And very, very difficult to fight on this particular stage. There are other cases where this enemy isn't that bad, but right here, this enemy is kind of bad. Let's try to pick off as many of the dwarf ball bears as possible. Both treasures are right here, which is actually great. Makes my life a lot easier, to be honest, because that limits the amount of enemies that we'll have to fight, hopefully. Dodged a boulder. These are armored cannon beetle larvae, so we saw the adult armored cannon beetle in Pikmin 1, and now we are fighting a larval form. If you can stun them, they're not that bad. If you can't stun them, they're kind of annoying. That could have gone better if we had gotten the stun, but actually we have entirely flowers still, so that's something. But yeah, because of these little, like, ramps they have, it's actually very difficult to actually, like, throw Pikmin properly at the right angle to actually stun them, which makes them more difficult to defeat than they would be, like, if they were not, like, surrounded by a barrier, essentially. Alright, this one doesn't have anything, so we're actually free to move on. In theory, but there's actually something I want to look for, and this is going to cause problems because it's being surrounded by ball bears. We have a purple candy pop bud right over here. This is actually going to be very tricky trying to get all the Pikmin out, because there's also the other cannon beetle off in the distance, along with the ball bears. One other trick you can actually employ for this particular dungeon, or this cavern, is you can actually use the boulders to defeat the ball bears. So that can make things a little bit safer if you actually use the cannon beetles and the captains to basically, yeah, lure the cannon beetles into defeating a bunch of the enemies. You also want to be careful about leaving Pikmin around, because you might end up with a situation where a stray boulder, while fighting, might end up like rolling over a bunch of Pikmin. So yeah, this dungeon is kind of stressful. Probably the scariest one we've seen so far. I'm actually, what was that? I'm actually kind of amazed we got through this as easily as we did. This is the last scary floor. Again, I would have liked to have kept an extra bitter spray, so that was kind of a shame. But beyond that, I am actually happy with being able to get through this as easily as we did, not having to like reset any of the floors because of like losing a bunch of Pikmin, which definitely was a possibility. So yeah, all things considered, this was actually remarkably smooth. Well, we have a lot of nectar, so let's actually give some nectar to the purple Pikmin we just got. Again, they are a bit slow as leaf Pikmin, so trying to have... This is the Sulking Antenna for 150 Pokos. As I was saying, purple Pikmin are so slow because of how powerful they are, that trying to have flowers is definitely helpful to speed them up. And we have a little party favor called the Boom Cone for 100 Pokos. Overall, this was a very smooth run of this area. And for our final floor, we actually have proper lighting, which is nice after how dark this place has been. And we have a ton of bread bugs and treasures. You can try to race the bread bugs for the treasures. It's actually a little bit risky, because if the Pikmin get pulled in, they will actually die. So yeah, it is a little bit scary actually trying to collect the treasures from the bread bugs, but I am trying to go for these because this is relatively easy. They weren't that close, so we should be fine. We have an egg called the Hideous Victual for 100 Pokos. So this donut is almost back to the base, and then we have a couple more to go. And this is the Sweet Dreamer, worth 40 Pokos. So now they'll probably go after the thing over here, so let's try to actually collect this as well. Again, this was actually pretty easy this time. Sometimes I've had cases where it's been a lot harder to actually catch up to them and collect the treasures before it's too late, and then I actually have to defeat them. So this actually worked out pretty well, all things considered, but we will have to defeat one. And we have the Meat of Champions for 35 Pokos. So we have a problem. The final treasure, we can't actually access yet. To do so, we need to defeat the this large bread bug over here, which is easier said than done. Like before, we're basically going to rely on throws. I actually don't know the best way to defeat this because of how tall it is. I was thinking maybe purple Pikmin, or yellow Pikmin because they have a higher throw arc. but I almost feel like this would be better, because purple Pikmin do deal a little bit more damage. This bread bug is actually pretty tanky, compared to like the smaller ones. So yeah, this might actually take a bit of time when not trying to collect the enemies like before. Yeah, as long as you can keep throwing Pikmin consistently, you can also stun lock it to keep it from moving, which definitely helps to speed this up a little bit as well. Also, having pointer controls for a case like this is actually nice, because it's very easy to call the Pikmin back, and then continue throwing Pikmin very quickly. So yeah, that is one benefit of actually having the pointer controls, even though I do find them slightly quirky in other instances. Again, I have kind of mixed feelings about the controls, but in general I do like this version from what I've played of it. Almost there, one more should finish it off. Processing. How bizarre. An item appears to have fallen out of that freakish creature. It must have been a greedy beast to swallow something like this. So we have our main treasure of this floor. So let's carefully carry it back. Again, purple Pikmin can very easily carry things back without having to worry about bread bug interference. So yeah, let's have them carry it back. And this is half an eraser called the Dream Material for 100 Pokos. This intriguing material does not conduct electricity. It is far more advanced than the material I was researching. How frustrating. A spacesuit made from this wonder alloy would insulate the wearer from electric shocks. Excellent. This new material has allowed me to complete my anti-electrifier. It is my own invention, with only the smallest iota of outside inspiration. I have reconfigured your suits with this new material. They will now protect you from electricity. This is a very good item to have early on, because now we don't have to worry about electric hazards. Obviously, we still have to worry about the Pikmin, but the actual electricity itself, or the captains themselves, are completely immune from electric attacks. Alright, so we've cleared out the final floor of the Glutton's kitchen. Again, just to be on the safe side, let's break this, and return to the surface. With almost 1,200 Pokos worth of treasure, we actually skipped the 40% mark and went straight to 50% of the debt repaid. With the time we have left, I actually don't know if there's anything we can do. I'm going to try... do we have enough time to try to collect more berries? Again, I would like to have at least one spray at all times, just because in case of emergencies, it's nice to have. We got the day is almost over timer or notification though, so we have to wait for these to sprout first, then collect the berries. So we actually might just call it here. I don't think we'll have enough time to carry everything back. Actually, let's wait for the timer, just because, you know, the previous day we skipped to the end of the day, so we didn't actually see what this countdown looks like. So yeah, let's actually let the countdown play out this time. So yeah, all of our Pikmin are accounted for, and we should be good to go. No Pikmin left behind on day 4. With that, we've earned over 2,000 Pokos in one day. Along with that, we found our first yellow Pikmin, and so far have lost none. Of course, it's a deathless run, but I feel like pointing this out just to be on the safe side because, again, there can be glitches, so I do like to check from time to time, just to make sure no Pikmin have glitched or anything. Olimar, you're my hero. You've erased half of our debt. Still, things have become a bit dangerous, so I'm going into hiding. Focus on work, and don't slack off. To my understanding, at least as far as I remember, that's actually everything we can do at the That's everything we can do at the Perplexing Pool for now. So, now that we have yellow Pikmin, we actually want to go back to the Awakening Wood. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 2.